Good morning, students, and welcome to the first actual educational video of Mutant Cell Academy. This is Max 2011 that I'm using, 3D Studio Max 11, and I was just going to go through some simple move, rotate, and scale options to show you how it works. We're going to begin by clicking the Create tab and the Geometry tab, which is default when you start it, but we're going to make a box. And I always grade things from the top view because, well, video games like the axis orientation when it's been the top view. I'm not sure why, but I always do it just to keep things copacetic. But just so that we can see everything, we hit the maximize viewport, but zoom extends all so that you can see all of them. Then if you have a scroll, that doesn't appear to work. So use the zoom and oops. I thought it would zoom all, but I'm just zooming it out a little to be able to use. Now, for the move, these are the three icons that we're going to be choosing. Select and move, select and rotate, and select and scale. I have it set to squash, but we'll deal with that a bit later. Actually, maybe I'll show that in this video as well. But as you can see, Max has there are three axes of 3D space: X, Y, and Z. X is left and right. Z is up and down. Y is backwards and forwards. And in Max, if you want to limit it to one, you just move over the arrow. You can see that the arrow turns yellow. Everything else doesn't, and it doesn't matter if your mouse moves up and down. It constrains only to the direction that you choose. And again, we can do that on the Y just show. And as you can see, my mouse is going left and right, but it doesn't make any difference. It's constrained to the Y-axis, and the same for the Z. When you switch between windows, you have to right-click to activate that window. And when the windows are active, you only see X and Y. But this is the Z axis here that you're moving it in. It looks like the Y because it says Y here, but it's not really. But and then to center in the world, you can go down to the X, Y, and Z spinners down at the bottom here. And if you ever want to zero out a spinner in 3D Studio Max, you just right-click on the spinner itself, and it goes to 0. And our box is not too far from the center, so you don't really see it move too much in here. But now it's at the world origin 0, 0, 0, which is the world origin, and that's the move, which that's pretty simple. But next we move on to rotate. Rotate is works the same. Again, you right click to activate the viewport, and if you rotate, you can rotate in a single axis. Control Z undoes that, but in fact, we don't have to worry about this right now. So I'm going to put the pedal up because we don't need the graphite tools yet. But all right, I already showed you it rotating in the Z axis. So at this point, you can also constrain it to rotate in the Y axis. Again, Control Z undoes it, or the X axis. you can tell the you can tell the axes that you're working in by the color of their circles. The Z is always blue. In fact, let's get rid of the grid so that you can see this a bit better. You do that by hitting G. We can go through and get rid of the grid on all the viewports, but so Z is blue, Y is green, and X is red. And if you want to use two at the same time, like actually this uses all of them at the same time, just by clicking on the open area between the axes. It allows you to rotate freely in all axes. This other circle allows you to rotate it in whatever axis is visible. Like I'll use this one for instance because it's already at 3/4. This allows you to lock it to the axis of the viewport, and of course the arrow points up or down to show you what direction you're spinning, which is kind of dumb because if you don't know which way you're spinning it, you should turn off Max and go play Tiddlywinks. Now that's rotate. Now scale has three different. Actually, there's quite a lot of options to scale, but I don't like scaling the entire object because it scales the axis in the middle. For animation, it's fine, but for video games, it kind of messes up the way the computer recognizes things. But again, you can lock the constraint by going over the line or the dot, and by pulling it at whatever angle, whatever constraint you want. And although in the middle there are two other options you can see. If you use the line between X and Y, it locks it into the orientation of both X and Y without scaling Z at all. But now if you bring it into the center, it also scales in Z as well, so it locks all three of them together. Now if you click and hold down the left mouse, you see that it brings up. I'm not even going to show this non-uniform scale because it's identical to the other scale. If you do it the way I just showed you, it's from an old version of 3D Studio Max before they had the nice handles like this. So we're not even going to worry about it. So again, if you click and hold your button down and go down to the squash, select and squash, it still allows you to choose an angle, but as your axis constrains, it squashes out the rest of the box. So it just keeps the volume of the square as you scale it. As you can see, it does not keep the volume inside. You cannot choose the middle of the triangle with this, but this allows you to choose to scale both at the same time, both X and Y axes, and it does keep the volume constant in this mode, because as it gets bigger in the top view, it gets shorter in the Y axis. So it just allows you to squash, but again, I don't like that in this mode because again, this messes up the access for video game systems. But I'll go and show you in my next video. I'm going to show you how to do it without adjusting the access for video game systems. So I'll see you next time.